I'm Colonel Shawn Brown. I'm the garrison commander, and I'm joined today with firefighter Mike Madrid from the Fort Carson Fire Department. Today we had a fire on Fort Carson. It burned a total of 106 acres. It's currently 20% contained. At one point in the day, we issued pre-evacuation orders to one street of one neighborhood. We also evacuated one of District 8's elementary schools, Patriot Elementary. Now luckily the students are all on spring break, so there's just faculty in the building. We also evacuated two of our child and youth centers, Patriot School Age Center and Cheyenne Child Development Center. Pending any questions, I can answer at this time.
Any idea how it started?
We don't have any idea how the fire started this time. That's not really a concern until we get it more contained. Currently we're sitting at 20%. Even once we do get the fire contained, given the shifting winds that we saw today, we're not likely to really be able to determine how it started.
Sir, we often see fires out downrange. This is unique for Fort Carson, isn't it? And did you have to handle it differently?
It's not entirely unique for Fort Carson. We have had fires that have threatened some of our housing areas. It is true that more often we see fires downrange. We had planned some burns today. We didn't execute those because of the wind conditions. So this is not related to those. This did give us some different considerations. And frankly, the biggest concern was making sure that our citizens or that our soldiers and their families were safe, and that we communicated clearly and accurately with the Fort Carson residents.
It looked like the fire had at one point jumped across Highway 115. Do you know whether or not that's the case?
No, currently don't have any reports that it's jumped 115. We did receive some mutual aid from some of our community fire departments, and they were staged along 115 in the event that it did jump 115. But currently we have no indications that it jumped the highway or off the reservation.
Because it's so close, did you have an assist? I'm seeing Colorado Springs Fire here. Are they here, and are there others?
So we did activate some of our mutual aid. We had fire elements from Cheyenne Mountain and some of our other communities. Firefighter Madrid can share which fire departments have sent assets.
Yes, thank you, sir. Fort Carson Fire Department would like to thank the following departments for coming out to assist today.
Oh, can we just grab your name and title too?
Sorry. My name is Michael Madrid. I'm a firefighter with Fort Carson Fire Department. We would like to thank Colorado Springs Fire Department for assisting, South Highway 115, Security Fire Department, Strathmore, Cimarron, Colorado Springs Utilities, and Cheyenne Mountain.
So what were your challenges with this fire today? I mean, we're closer to structures than when you're downrange. Is that an element, and wind as well?
Yes, with the structures, we have to be a little more direct with the attack to ensure that we protect the structures. Again, the family's homes, like the colonel said. The wind shifts was very challenging today. We had many different wind shifts that was challenging for us to handle.
Did the golf course help having it on the other side as a break so it didn't go towards the hospital?
Golf course was nice. Fort Carson does a really good job of running trails, which makes really good fire breaks. And we used a lot of those running trails as fire breaks.
When we had pulled up, we just noticed that the folks who live in these homes are some have suitcases out. Are they being told to evacuate, or are they on pre-evac status? What situation are these people in this close housing?
So we did issue a pre-evac order. Some of our community chose to evacuate, but there was no formal evacuation order given to any of our neighborhoods. So when early on, some of the folks with small children and pets did opt to pack up and depart the neighborhood, but that pre-evac order was lifted at 1500.
So we've had some conflicting information in that you just told us there was only faculty, but there was some scanner traffic saying 200 kids. Was that a precautionary if they'd been in, or do you know where that 200 kids came from?
So I don't know exactly where the number 200 came from, but we did evacuate a school-age center and a child development center. So some of those children who were on spring break They would have been in our school age center, and then some of the preschool age children would have been in our child development center. Those children were evacuated to another youth center on the installation.
So is that located at the elementary school, or are they separate buildings?
Those are two separate buildings from the elementary school.
Gotcha. So it's more of a daycare.
200 from MWR that were evacuated from those two.
Okay.
And I don't know what MWR means.
So MWR is our Family, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, and that's the organization on post that runs our child development centers.
So 200 is an approximation, but we do know there were quite a few kids evacuated.
That's accurate.
When we pulled into the visitor center parking lot, we just noticed that the flames got pretty close to those tanks that are positioned there that appear to be historic in some capacity. Was that a concern at all, the flames causing damage to those, those tanks that are out there at the visitor center?
We did close Gate 1, which is where our museum is located. So that would have been a concern. The historical nature of those vehicles would have been a priority, but not the same priority as our family structures.
And I apologize, we had some audio issues. You were drowned out by the wind on our end. Can you repeat your initial remarks just on acreage and containment and those things?
And we're currently sitting at 20% contained, and the fire has burned a total of 106 acres at this time.
So where do we go here? We're not seeing flames. Is there a worry that it's going to kick back up? Are we going to be here for hours longer or through the night watching hotspot? What's the status here?
So I'll let Firefighter Madrid answer the technical aspect of that, but containment is is something specific. So the fire is under control right now, but as far as containment, that means something a little bit more in firefighter parlance.
So yes, with that, we will monitor through the night. We will have a patrol go through. With the wind, we want to be as safe as possible. We don't want anything kicking back up and nobody be out here.
You knocked down flames pretty quick though, didn't you? It was like less than an hour, it seemed like.
Yes, we had the majority of it knocked down. But again, with the wind shift, it shifts into unburned fuel, which then takes it and it'll make another run on us. So nighttime, we want to be as safe as possible, especially with families back home. We don't want this thing getting out of control during the middle of the night.
It's the beginning of wildfire season, and so how do you guys feel about your response today, and what do you think this means for the rest of the season?
Feel really good with our response right now. Again, much help from our mutual aid partners. I expect a very active season for Fort Carson, whether it be right here in Garrison or downrange. It is, as we can see, ready to prime fuel, so we just need to be a little more cautious with our open flames and stuff.
Can I ask a quick question about fire behavior? I'm just observing here, and if it started over by the school, made it to 115, and was also going that way, did it kind of have erratic behavior and change directions on you, or was it spreading pretty consistently?
So it did have many erratic wind shifts on us that pushed it many different directions.
Okay, that's the large response.
Yes, sorry. Yes, sure. That was the reason for the large response, because it was very erratic. Again, we wanted to be as safe as possible and get this under control. Our priorities was housing right here, which we put a stop to pretty quickly, and then kept everybody else. Gate 1, golf course area. We had our groups on 115, patrolling 115 to ensure it did not cross 115.
And a follow up on that, I was seeing firefighter trucks here at an elementary school. Did you have people fighting the fire, then others for structure protection?
Yes, we had units protecting structures, units fighting the fire as well.
You said some of the kids were on spring break, so given, the beginning of the wildfire season, how do you think this will transpire, and do you think that evacuation protocols will hold up when schools are completely full?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase that question?
Just given spring break and everything, do you guys think that this would have been a bigger issue if the schools were full nearby?
It would have been a bigger challenge if we hadn't been on spring break. So luckily it is the spring break for District 8, and so we didn't have to worry about children in Patriot Elementary School. We just had to worry about the children who were in our child care facilities. Had school been in session, we would have had to coordinate much more closely with District 8 to evacuate those children out of the school.
I guess, what are you expecting with the rest of the day? Do you expect weather conditions will be working in your favor for the rest of the day, or do you expect challenges to get bigger as the day goes on?
So currently the wind's in our favor, and we anticipate that the wind's going to remain in our favor for the remainder of the day. We will have elements on scene throughout the remainder of the day and into the night to make sure that the fire doesn't spread and doesn't re-threaten any of our family housing or any of the other vital elements of Fort Carson.
We got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.